Hey, happy Monday morning. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Look at your Colorado weather forecast. For us here in the northern mountains, that's where it's still snowing, but for most of the state, the sun is out and it's a much calmer day than what it was back over the weekend. In Denver, we mostly missed out on the rain and snow. We got a little bit yesterday morning, but on the south side of town, but we mostly missed out on the rain and snow. But the mountains, though, very good storm for us in the high country, and that still continues for us on this Monday, especially along and north of I-70. Speaking of I-70, there's a look at the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnels, where still maybe a little bit of light snow falling out there, but looks just kind of cloudy with, again, maybe a few flakes, but the accumulating snow looks like it's done for us on the I-70 corridor. But you get north of there and along Rabbit Ears Pass, places like that, that's where it's certainly snowing right now. Meantime, for us here in Denver, we are still looking at mostly sunny skies overhead. We had those yesterday, and I think we kind of will end up a bit sunnier today in Denver compared to yesterday, though we'll see a few afternoon clouds move their way into the picture. So mountain snowfall continues for today. It's dry in Denver through probably Wednesday. I think Wednesday night we get our next chance for some rain or snow, but I think certainly Thursday and Friday looks to be a bit more unsettled for us here in the metro area. And as mentioned, our next storm Thursday and Friday, and that will include the potential for at least some snow for us in Denver. But the mountains hogging all the snow this past weekend. 22 inches of 48-hour snowfall for us in Aspen, 19 inches at Snowmass. So the Elk Mountains, the West Elks in particular, winning this storm with a widespread foot and a half worth of snowfall for us again in the West Elk Mountains. Crested Butte coming in with 18 inches as well. And Steamboat getting 18 inches. And by the way, in Steamboat, that's where it's still snowing here today. So that total will end up a bit higher. Vail, 17 inches of snowfall. And one of the things that kind of stands out from our most recent snowstorm is the fact that we kind of spread out that snow fairly evenly across the state. Yes, I know not everyone saw double-digit snowfall totals. You look at Wolf Creek in the south, Silverton with 10 inches, but most everybody saw 10 inches of snow. So again, that kind of bullseye in the central mountains, but even Breckenridge, the I-70 mountains getting over a foot of snow, Winter Park 16 inches, Steamboat 18 inches. You get the general idea that everybody did pretty well at the snowstorm. That helped with those snowpack levels. I'll show you those in the next couple of minutes. HD Doppler radar still showing us some of that snowfall out here across the western slope. This would be kind of Grand and Battlement Mesa, seeing some of that snowfall right now. Same for us, even into the parts of the West Elks and the Flat Top, seeing some of that snowfall and still seeing some snow. This is not picking up on everything for us here in the Yampa Valley, but trust me, it's still snowing up there by Fraser, Steamboat Springs, Grand Lake, still seeing some of that snowfall, but the heavy stuff mostly over and done with, at least from this particular storm, though we'll still hold on to some of those snow showers as we head through the rest of the day today. I still have some periods of snowfall for us as we head through the rest of the day today, especially along the north of I-70, but I think for the most part we're done with the majority of the accumulating snow from this storm. We're just dealing with some leftovers due to some moisture that is trapped in some of the mountain valleys. Winter weather advisory continues until midnight tonight with an additional 2 to 5 inches worth of snowfall. Still could have some 50-mile-an-hour winds. This will be for really the Highway 40 corridor for us across northern Colorado. Rabbit Ears Pass, in particular, will still be a difficult drive as we head over the next few hours. Wind gusts, a lot lighter winds compared to the weekend. We're certainly grateful about that. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was very, very windy, but the good news is that wind over and done with. Those strong winds today, or strong winds we had yesterday, those are over and done with, as I mentioned, and we expect light winds to continue for the rest of today and into tonight. Temperatures right now, we're in the 30s and 40s for us across the Eastern Plains, so we've kind of warmed up. Notably for us, yesterday we topped out at 54 degrees in Denver. We're going to probably head up maybe a little bit cooler than that, but with lighter winds, probably going to feel a bit warmer today compared to yesterday, even though yesterday was technically warmer with that high of 54. High of 51 today for us here in Denver. Seasonal, less windy for us here in town. Highs in the 50s for us on the Eastern Plains. 30s and 40s for the most part to the high country. Tonight we drop back into the upper 20s. Seasonal and quiet for us, and statewide, most of those lows dropping into the teens and 20s. Again, it's pretty typical stuff for the first week of the month of March. Tomorrow, it kind of turns cloudy. We'll have some clouds tonight, but it does turn cloudy as we get into tomorrow with a high of 53 for us here in Denver. So maybe a couple degrees warmer today, tomorrow compared to today, and those highs, again, a little bit warmer but for the most part, it's just a fairly mild forecast. We look ahead, and our next storm will be at Thursday, Friday. This looks to be a mainly mountain snow event, but we'll get some snow for us probably into the Denver area. It looks like it's going to be Friday when we would get some of that snow here in town. Then the weekend, we warm on up, highs in the 50s and 60s for us looking ahead to next weekend. And kind of to give you an idea, I know when we showed that snow, you kind of want an idea about what it could be. And I would say it looks like it's no big deal to me. It doesn't look like we'll be looking more than, say, 1 to 3, maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow for us on Friday. At this point, it looks to be a mainly mountain event. A little more details on that as it gets a bit closer. And final thing, I want to show you that snowpack. We're at 99% of our season to date average across the state. Now, a couple things about that. That is our highest number, 99% statewide, highest number since early November. So we've kind of we had a very rough start early January. You might remember about 2 months ago, we were sitting in the 60s in terms of our statewide snowpack average. So we had a rough November, December, early January in terms of snowfall. We really picked things up through the month of January and February, kind of steady snows and kind of gradually made up ground. And now we're getting pretty close to getting to those average levels. And you know what, I'll say this as well, is that there's a pretty good chance we end up at or above average after our next couple of storms over the next few days. So certainly rooting for that, and that is certainly some good news. We'll say, though, our central and northern mountains are faring, generally speaking, a bit better than our southern mountains right now. But our storm later this week hopefully will add a bit more snow to just about everybody as we get later on through the week. So more details on this coming up at 9 News at noon and at 2 p.m. here on 9 News Plus. Then we'll have Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin in, I should say, Kathy's off today. We have meteorologist Lauren Robinson in at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. Once again, I'm 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. Have a great rest of your Monday.